All right, guys. So I'm just now checking some messages. Looks like so my Zoom that I have this account can go up to I upgraded it to 500, but for some reason this morning it's only allowing 100 participants. Um, so I just got to say you guys are early bird gets the worm. It's what I always tell my kids. Great problem to have. We'll record this so that we can send this out to everybody because obviously my phone's getting blown up. But hey, you know what? We reward the ones that are here. Can everybody hear me? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Just want to make sure. Had a few people say they couldn't hear anything. Um, and thank you, Jordan Stone. I had to pass it to him real quick to get everybody muted, and so now I'm not the host. So real quick, guys, I want to cover a few things. Not going to keep you long. We got an action-packed Monday. I've been up since about 5:30 this morning. Started doing calls at 6 a.m. Just got off the phone with Mr. Brian Stone. Been working on lots of things that we're kicking off this week. So couple updates that I want to give everybody. And actually, I was on the call with Brian, and he said he can't even get on because it's maxed out. So we'll share the recording. Just want to give everybody these updates. I guess that was my fault because I had him on a call and I was already on the Zoom. So we are recording those. So let everybody know that they can get this recording as soon as it's over. Like I said, it's not going to be very long because we got a lot of things that we got to get knocked out this week. Hope you guys enjoy my background. I'm at the beach this morning. Just kidding. I love these new AI features that we have. So diving into SuperNova, they are finalizing everything right now as far as contracts for customers. Obviously, they're finalizing the contracts for all the reps as well. It went to the compliance group of attorneys that are knocking all that out, finishing that. As far as contracts for your customers, if you submitted an EV intake form and it got preliminarily approved, there's about, I believe, 300, give or take, of those that got approved. All of those customers will be getting their contracts. Probably most of them have. Anyone that hasn't will be getting those today. So that's going out. All that contract states, I just want to tell everybody so that you, as you're reaching out to your customers or if your customers reach out to you, number one, there's a chance it went to their spam folder, right? It can do that. SuperNova is using some different platforms in order for it to not go to spam. But if it did go to spam, just tell them to check. But here's the key to let them know on that contract: they are just signing the EV contract to state that they do want to move forward with SuperNova. So it's just so that SuperNova, when they go to spend the money on the engineering, the permitting, all those things, is that they're saying that they do indeed want SuperNova to spend that money to move forward and take it down the tracks. It doesn't mean that SuperNova is going to put it wherever they want, right? They're going to put the EV charger where the customer wants. They're going to run all that by them. They're going to get the stamp of approval from the customer as they will, planning and zoning or permitting, right? Whoever decides where that's allowed to go, that's a process. It'll be added to the contract, as it moves through those steps. The same with the solar. So if you have commercial solar or solar farms that have been submitted, they have about 200, I believe 250 of those that over the next 10 to 15 business days will be sending out. So they're going to start on that this week. They're going to continue to do that next week. Now, just so you guys understand, on the solar, it's different contracts per state. So the EV contracts for the customers is the same in every state. It's different in each state. There's about 6 or 7 different contracts that are used because each state's different. So they have to go get each contract specific for the state that was submitted. That's why those take a little bit longer, but they'll be starting to send those out. And again, same thing with all of those customers. Let them know as they're getting that contract, what they are signing is that they're signing to agree that they, yes, want to move forward with SuperNova because SuperNova is going to be doing engineering. They have to do, I believe it's called environmental reports, right? They have to do a whole lot of things when it comes to the solar farms as well as the commercial solar to get it approved. But the point is, it's just a process, which means SuperNova is saying, yes, you've passed our approval. Now we'll move to the next phase to get you what you've requested, either on your commercial building or on your, on your land as far as a solar farm. So all those will start to go out, but again, they will be sending additional, things for them to sign through the process. Just like the great example is, just like if you were going to build a home, right? You would have to sign a contract with that builder that you want them to start working on the plans. But the builder doesn't just show up one day and build you a house, right? They're going to build you the house that you want. They're not going to pick out your cabinets and your countertops. They're going to ask you. Once they get your approval, then they're going to go order those. So with SuperNova, they're not going to just put the solar panels on somebody's building. They're going to get the approval. So maybe a person has, and I ran into this, a customer of mine has a brand new roof. It's a brand new building that got built. So they don't want to null that 30-year warranty that they have on that roof, right? They don't want it to go null and void. So they requested, can I do the solar? Can I have the engineers draw up solar just on covered parking? Of course, SuperNova will be glad to do that. The point is, SuperNova is going to be then submitting them the design approvals to sign off on at a later date as those get done. So I just want to be clear, when SuperNova sends these contracts, it's just to state that here's what the contract looks like, and they're signing it wanting to engage with SuperNova. That's the gist of it. So I want to make that clear. Next thing, SuperNova, as I've mentioned, they have brought on compliance. Okay. There are some things that are happening right now as far as reps getting started. They're going out, possibly, maybe they've taken something the wrong way, but they're spreading the wrong information. They're making statements that aren't accurate about SuperNova to their customer. A couple of times in particular this week, the company got phone calls saying, hey, this rep told me this, that's the wrong information. So on all videos, on all marketing material, anything that you're passing along, make sure if you're creating it, we have to run it through compliance. Even some of the stuff that maybe we have right now, we're going to run it back through compliance. That's their job. That's what they've been hired to do, to keep us protected, right? Because my example is, if SuperNova is this golden goose, and right, we want the golden goose to keep laying the golden eggs for all of us to be able to move forward and keep doing business, then we have to protect it at all costs, right? SuperNova is what is the most important thing to protect, because without that, what are we doing, right? We're selling something and we don't own the company. So we have to protect the company that's providing the opportunity for all of us. And so those things have been put in place because this rollout's happening quick. And what we don't want to do is we don't want, Mr. Brian Stone gave this example, right? We don't want the Lamborghini to be going 1,000 or 200 mile an hour down the road and then have to slam on the brakes because something fell off. So we have to get all these things in place now. That's what they're doing. Things obviously, sometimes take a little bit longer, but just know if someone is misrepresenting the company, they're going to be terminated, right? As we roll this thing out and contracts are signed, that'll be a part of the contract, right? There's terms and conditions, there's policies and procedures, there's things we have to abide by. Just like if this was insurance, right? You'd actually have to have a license. And if it was insurance, then you wouldn't be able to go out and misrepresent, or they would pull your license. The same in this, although we don't have a license, this industry is regulated. We have to make sure that as reps are going out, they're not miscommunicating, they're not misrepresenting, and they're just giving factual information about the company, passing the tools that are going to be passed out by SuperNova so that they can give them proper information, and so that person isn't getting the wrong information. So it's all something that happens with any company as it's expanding, right? We're going from California to global, and all of us on this call are spreading it nationally. So the things are put in place for our protection. And that's just something that we have to deal with right now. And there's going to be other things that come up, right? There's going to be things like there's a charger by another company that's actually called a SuperNova charger, right? It's an EV charger. They didn't realize that we had the trademark to that name, right? All these issues, but people are saying that's our EV charger, right? Well, that's not our EV charger. That's another company. They just so happen to name it the same name. And so in the process, they're misrepresenting to a customer. And that's just one example of something that's not technically our product. We do have EV chargers, but it's not called a SuperNova charger, right? And so those are little things that we have to work on as a whole. So coming up this week, the things that I do want people to know is right now the company's wanting us to put a halt on bringing new reps on board. Okay, we have to put a halt on that. Let me tell you why. There's more people focused on reps than are focused on customers. And anytime a company gets focused more on reps than customers, that's a problem. We probably right now, if the company sent out contracts for all reps to sign, we would have more reps than we have customers. Obviously, that's a problem. And so right now, we're going to focus on bringing in customer intake forms. That is the main focus of the company. We don't make money. No one in this company is going to make any money without the customer. That is the main focus. That's the first thing we have to do. So they're working on getting all the contracts in place. Obviously, they sent out the customer contracts because we don't want customers to be, continually waiting. We had to get the legal and the legal team, and we also had to get the compliance team involved to make sure as those are going out, we're meeting all the requirements in the industry of energy, and we're following it state by state, because that's another thing, right? California, they have their set of rules. Well, every state has their own set of rules. Some states, the contract on solar is a PPA agreement. Some states, it's a lease agreement. Some states, it's neither. It's completely different. So those are the things that SuperNova is working through right now to make sure that we're on the right track, that as this rocket ship gets off the ground, that we don't have anything that we have to come back down to earth for. We can keep going. So those are the things that are going to roll out this week. If any of your customers, and I'm just going to say from, let's say the whole month of July, right? I'm not sure if they've already started sending out emails to customers or contracts to customers from August, but let's just say the whole month of July. What we need to know and what you need to make sure of, and I'm reaching out to my customers, have they got either one, a contract if they were an EV customer from SuperNova? They should have that, and if they haven't, they'll get it probably today at the latest. Number two, everyone in the company that has submitted and got approved for solar or EV, they would have gotten an email over the weekend from SuperNova, just updating them. If they were a solar customer, updating them that they will be getting a contract over the next 10 to 15 days. That's what they're starting on this week and next. So make sure your customers got that email. If not, it went to their spam box. I know that because I put my email in there to make sure that as these went out, I too got it. And I'm just telling you, the first emails I got from SuperNova, they went to my spam box, even though I had emailed the company prior. But now the new emails, the new software that they use, I received the email. Both of them went to my inbox. So let's make sure that your customers, because here's the issue. If your customer might have put down, or the person filling out the intake form, if they made the email one number or one letter off or a period in the wrong place, then they're not going to get it. So those are just little things right now until the back office is complete that we want to track those, because we don't know, right? And we don't want a customer being mad saying, I've not heard anything from SuperNova. Well, it might have been that the email was entered wrong, or the person who entered it wrong. So, but it could be that it went to their spam box. The next thing I want to hit on real quick. So we did have a call with the back office company. They are actually moving at lightning speed, because by the 19th, they're going to have a demo rolled out for SuperNova. We're going to be testing it through that entire week. The 19th, I believe, is next Monday. So we're going to be testing it all the way through next week. And what's exciting about that is by the time we finish testing it, they're going to be rolling us out that back office either the end of August, at the latest 1st of September, which is huge. If any of you guys know anything about building back office software, sometimes it takes 6 months. Fast lightning speed is 90 days. They're doing this for us in literally 30 days. So kudos to that company that's coming in, kind of putting all the pieces to the puzzle, because from the time you fill out an intake form, you being the rep, right? Me being the rep, we'll be able to log in, track that through the whole process. So even right now, this morning, you would be able to open up your back office, check all the customers and intake forms that have went through that are in your pipeline, and you would see who got the email, who got a contract, right? What phase they're at through that process. Then you would even be able to see when they've signed the contract, right? And then that would show you when your commissions, what they are, what contracts that they're on, and when to expect those payouts. So it's going to do everything for us, front to back, the whole process, and it will allow you to track and see, right? Maybe your customer didn't get the email and it's going to alert that the email rejected it, right? So you'll know, oh, they entered the email wrong, or maybe I put it in wrong. You'll be able to check those and update it real time, which is going to be great for all of us, because it's going to take the tasks that we're dealing with daily of trying to push all this through and use spreadsheets to track it. It's going to make that system a lot easier. Real quick, tons of things going in the group chat. So right now, if you have any specific questions, like I said, I'm not going to keep everybody long, because right now it's about getting intake forms. It's about getting customers. They're working around the clock to get everything else rolling. But I'm just going to tell you, the CEO, Mr. Chris Bridwell, this weekend met with a group of installers. They've been doing installs since the 80s. You guys already knew that the company had about 3,800 installers. He added 15,000 installers this weekend. He met with the group up in Colorado. They went to a Braves game afterwards. But we just totally, right, if you add all that together, it's 18,800 installers. So that's awesome, right? These people, they know how to do it inside and out. They've been doing it forever. As a matter of fact, they've done a lot of things for our country as far as infrastructure goes. It's really cool that we're going to be adding that to what SuperNova offers. And so as we're bringing through right now, I think we have about 600 intake forms. So as that ramps up, right, as we keep growing and we get it to 1,000, and then there's going to be 2,000, the focus of SuperNova is to make sure they have enough installers to keep the projects happening at a fast pace. Because the last thing we want to be is like all the other companies that, we spoke to people who thought they were getting an EV charger a year ago, still haven't got it, or people that thought they were getting solar 2 years ago and still haven't gotten it. So our focus to be SuperNova is, number one, we don't want to misrepresent anything from the rep side, right? We have to take care of that. We have to own responsibility. We're going to work on doing more trainings and doing in-depth things for all the reps so that everybody top to bottom is trained. Number two, the lifeblood of everything is bringing in new business. We all know that. So SuperNova wants to make sure that they have the proper amount of installers lined up so that as we increase the sales, that there's not a part or a point where we have to scale it down or sell less, right? Because it's like when you're driving a car. When you have your teenage driver, their first time they drive, they're pushing the gas. They push on the gas, and you're getting whiplash. You're like, can you please just ease your foot on the gas and maintain speed? That's what we want to do in SuperNova. We don't want to have a lot of false starts. We want to push our foot on the gas pedal and get it to a nice cruising speed and keep cruising. Because what we have right now with the laws that have passed this summer, this is for the next 9 years, nothing's going to change for all of our sakes, right? So I look at this as we have 9 years to get SuperNova at a cruising speed and maintain it and keep the flow of deals for all of our sakes, but also keep everyone trained so that everything about SuperNova in the customer's world has a good taste in their mouth, right? We don't want people talking negative about SuperNova, and that all starts with proper training. So that's things that we're going to do, which is why they've said, hey, let's put a halt on bringing on new customers. I'm going to read some of these questions in the group chat. If you have a question, please put it there, and I will go through and answer them as I can. And then we're going to hop off and get this Monday started. So yes, meetings at capacity. I will send a recording. Hold on, let me get down to the questions. Yes, I agree. Fire the people that are spreading misinformation. Let's see. Going through the questions. Sorry, there's a lot of messages in here. Yeah, back office getting done that quick is definitely fast. Yes, we'll have the recording. Yeah, there will be videos that you guys can send out. Right now, we're running everything through compliance because, again, that's what they're there for. And, Are there going to be any chargers for private use? Okay, so let me address that for a second. There won't be for residential, right? So like if I wanted to charge at my home, I'm not going to qualify because I have to be a business. But there's some businesses, like let's use trucking companies. They're not going to let the general public come back where all their trucks are, but they would have a lot of truckers or a lot of customers or employees using it. So that's where it would qualify for private use in that situation, but not an individual. It has to be a commercial use, but in commercial you have public, like at a gas station or hotel, and then you'd have private. So if you had a huge corporation, you had 200 employees, and 50 of them have electric vehicles, you're probably going to qualify, but it's just because you're allowing your employees to use it. I hope that makes sense. Yes, on municipality, they have multiple buildings, so pick one. So same thing. We had a group that had a district of schools, right? We picked the one school that had the largest electric bill to start with, and then they'll move from there. So if it's a municipality, same thing. Of course, they're going to have tons of buildings. Submit one. Once you get that first one through, obviously SuperNova is going to recognize that they're a municipality, and it'll grow from there. A list of the electricity regulated and unregulated states. So I can ask for a list, but right now all states pretty much you can submit intakes form. It's just depending on if they're regulated or unregulated. SuperNova can take on all customers. There's only a few places where you can't, and those places are so few and far between. We haven't even had anybody submit an intake form that hasn't gotten approved, and like I said, we've had over 600. I think 300 or 250 of those have been for solar. So if you get one not approved, that would be a shock, because what the government and the states and everybody, what they opened up, the bill that they passed, makes it to where we can pretty much go nationwide and people are going to get approved. Businesses are going to get approved. Let's see. Can we provide EV chargers for EV buses? I believe so. I will get that question if we have specific ones for those. But I do know, because we had some schools that they've looked into getting. Now, we do also have the ability to help schools. There's a lot of stuff we can do for schools and nonprofits. So I'll just save that for a later discussion. Who pays the electric bill? On what are you referring to? But I'll go through a couple of examples. So if it's the EV chargers, they're going to put in a new meter. So if the customer doesn't get solar, let's say they just get EV chargers, which I'm just telling you, if you're going to get them approved for EV chargers, there's no reason to not see if they get approved for solar. It's like getting two cells in one deal for the same effort. But if they just got EV chargers and weren't getting solar, they're going to run a separate meter for the EV chargers, and that's going to be a part of what SuperNova takes care of out of the revenue that's made from the EV charger. So the customer, if they have an electric bill on their current building and they're not getting solar, then obviously they're going to be paying the electric bill. But if they get solar, that offsets their electric bill, and they are able to share in the profit with SuperNova. So question, if a customer is being submitted for solar and they need a new roof. So yes, if their roof either needs to be replaced, or let's say it's structurally not basically zoned or built for solar, SuperNova will replace that for them, no cost to the customer. So that's great for them. Let's see, they have added a community garden. Could that area be considered for covered solar panels, like covered parking? Yes. So it doesn't have to be that they're parking underneath it to do the covered parking. That's just the most prominent example of when we use those covered parking situations. But it could, if someone qualifies and they have an area that could be covered to put that on, then SuperNova is going to put that in the drawing and see if it makes sense financially. Let's see. Can a customer sign up directly with SuperNova? No, they can't. They'll have to go through a sales channel, which is great. SuperNova, just so you know, I was Chris, over the weekend had sent me basically how much traffic SuperNova's website gets in a day. And it's like 5,000 or 7,000. I can't remember how many unique users it was, but there are so many people that, request for solar. But he doesn't deal with any of them, right? It's just, you have to go through a sales channel, which is great for all of us because it allows us the opportunity that if someone tries to circumvent, it's not going to happen, because the company wants to reward those that are going out and, sharing the opportunity about SuperNova for customers. Website video do we use now to present to a new customer? So SuperNova obviously has their own website that you can show to people. There are PDF forms that were sent out that explain the EV chargers, explain SuperNova, and so you can share those. Those are directly from the company. Everything else, the compliance is going through it right now. They'll make the tweaks, and hopefully all that'll be out this week for us to share. But to be honest with you guys, I haven't shared anything with a customer. They don't even know the name of the company, and I've gotten like 50 intake forms myself. All I say is I'm with a company. They're rolling out an opportunity for people because of bills that recently got passed to see if you qualify for either free electric vehicle chargers and or solar. So and I'm talking to somebody that either owns a commercial building or owns land, and we just start talking about, have you ever looked at getting solar on your property? If it's a farm or commercial building, I tell them exactly what I just said, and I say all I need is basic information, and I can see if you qualify. And I leave it at that, because if they don't qualify, I don't want to get them all hyped up and excited on something that they don't qualify for. But in the same token, I don't want a long conversation. I don't want to go through it all. Now, some people ask more questions, so I'll answer those. But the point is, I'm just saying, man, let's just see if you qualify. Let's not waste any time, me and you going back and forth, because you may not qualify. I need basic information. I'll put it through the system and see if you qualify. I've not given them any documents, any intake or any PDFs. They've not seen a video, anything. I had one person ask me the name of the company. I sent them the SuperNova website, but I'd already had their intake information. So that was after the fact when they were like, hey, what's that company you submitted my intake for? And I tell them that way, once they've passed approval, I'm letting them know who's going to be emailing them for a contract or updating them on the next step. So I try to keep it very simple. Had another question. Someone has land, wants to build a solar farm. How does that solar opportunity work? Yeah. So they're going to look at the size of their farm. Right now, SuperNova, majority of them, they want them to be 20, 25 acres or larger for it to be worth their investment. And then they split revenue with the customer. In some states, it's a lease. So SuperNova is going to offer them substantially more than whatever they would lease their farm out, for crops or whatever. And so that's negotiated between SuperNova and the customer. But the point is, if they have land, they're not making anything off of it right now unless they're farming it. And I can assure you, because I know what other people lease their land out for farming, or what they make off of it for farming, they will make more from if SuperNova uses it than they will if whatever else they're doing on it. I'm just telling you that. And if it doesn't make sense for the customer, then they can say no. The point is, let them submit it to see if they are approved. Then if they don't want to do it, they don't have to, right? They've not spent any money. They've not had to do anything. But I can assure you, 99% of the time, if they are interested in all at solar and they want to look to see what it would look like on their property, once it goes through the processes, and SuperNova will send them a contract to say, hey, if you want us to move forward, sign that you do want us to move forward, right? As they move that down the tracks and they figure out, here's what the electric company or the electric provider or energy company is going to pay SuperNova for the energy, they figure up the numbers, and they then will submit those numbers before they move, very far forward at all, for the customer to see. I've not had anybody say, no, that doesn't look good to me. Because in most cases, it's far greater than what they're making off that land right now. So all they need is the intake form, and then once they get approved, they'll move through the next processes. So let's see. If something happens to the solar panels and they don't function, the company will take care of all maintenance. So for the life of the project, the company will be taking care of that, which is great. Again, no out-of-pocket costs for the customer. Let's see. Somebody's talking about being an installer. Yes, that will be, once there's projects in your area, definitely get with, the national sales director that, whatever group you're part of, they can get you connected to the company. And if you're a licensed installer, I'm sure SuperNova would be glad to use somebody that's already doing business with them. So Australia, New Zealand, yeah, as far as I know, submit the intake form, because this same bill that passed, and this is again my limited knowledge on this, but the way I understand it is it's a global situation in many cases. SuperNova's already done stuff across the globe. So yeah, submit the intake form, let SuperNova look at it. I know they're already looking at other projects that are shovel ready in different countries. So let's see. What's the SuperNova website address? I might butcher it, but it's supernovaenergy.solar. All right, I try to go through as many as I could. I don't believe there's an office located in Woodlands, Texas for SuperNova. Listen, if you haven't received the PDF, or you haven't received any of the marketing material, message whoever sent you this and say, I need to get that information. There's enough people that you should be able to, someone should be able to get you the information. Now, here's what's great. Once the back office is up, we will be able to send that through the back office to everyone. I'm telling you, that thing is going to make 99% of the problems we have right now not a problem. And like they always say, there's nothing that's a real problem if you can throw money at it and make it go away. It's just an issue. So right now we don't have problems. We just have issues, because we're going to throw enough money at them, get the back office built, and make them go away. So guys, I don't want to keep any more of your time. I've got 4 more Zooms today that I've got to get ready to knock out. I did 23 Zooms last week. Yesterday I was just letting my brain rest, because I've been on the phone 15 to 16 hours a day per my phone, letting me know that I'm on it too much. I do see one person's hand raised. I don't know if you put your question in the message board, but if you can, shoot it here so I can get it answered. But guys, I'm gonna jump off. Just to recap, here's what we got coming this week. They're sending all the contracts on EV. All those should be out this week to your customers. They should have all gotten an email over the weekend letting them know if it's solar. They're going to be getting those contracts over the next 10 to 15 business days. They will finalize all the contracts for reps, and those will be sent out as well. Again, all this is with the new appointed attorney team that's doing all compliance. Every video, everything's being submitted to them. So obviously they got a large workload to work through, but they're getting it knocked out so that as we move forward, we know we are staying compliant within the industry that we're in. But everything's getting moved. The back office, we'll be getting a demo on that next week to go through and get it all perfected so that you guys have everything in place to get this thing really rocking, and so that you can track everything in the process. So I hope that helped. I hope you guys have a phenomenal week. Let's get as many intake forms, new customers. That's the lifeblood of this business. And let's focus on helping educate the customer, not misrepresenting anything. And listen, if you hear somebody out there saying something that you don't really think is accurate, just tell them. If they weren't on this Zoom, because I know only 100 people can get on, let them know. Say, hey, make sure you're not misrepresenting. Because if you don't know, it's okay to say you don't know. I've done a ton of calls. I had a guy ask me yesterday a question. I said, man, I don't know. It's a great question. I'll get it answered. I'll get it back to you. We're not going to know everything from the get-go, but remember, it's just basic information to see if they qualify. That's it. I'm not selling them on solar. I'm not selling them on an EV charger. I'm seeing if they qualify, because at that point, then I can move to getting them more information once we know they've qualified. So I hope that helps. Hope you guys have a phenomenal Monday and a great week. Again, we'll send the recording out so you guys can get it. Thank you guys for your time. Have a blessed day and a blessed week. Thanks, guys.